Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. New ministers sworn in. A misinterpretation of the law, but at whose expense? And later in sports, JCA confident in timely light installation ahead of Australia test at Sabina. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kerry-Ann Simpson. Here are the details. The government says it is moving ahead to address issues of inefficiency and bureaucracy, which has been hindering growth. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the appointment of Ambassador Audrey Marks as a senator is the first step. The ambassador, as well as newly appointed state minister in the Ministry of Tourism, Delano Severide, were sworn in today.
It has long been established how government bureaucracy continues to stifle economic growth and in some cases investments. Prime Minister Andrew Holness again acknowledging the frustration Jamaicans experience when trying to conduct business at some government entities.
The experience with bureaucracy is probably primarily expressed in the frustration at our tax offices. It's the experience in trying to call a government entity and not getting a response on the telephone. It's the customer service.
An acknowledgement, too, on how it impacts state projects.
Projects that could transform Jamaica. When it gets tied up in all kinds of processes, and every part of the bureaucracy wants a part of it, whether it is investigation, accounting, review, all kinds of nonsense, while the people suffer. We have to change that.
It's why Mr. Holness has tasked the newly appointed minister with that portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Ambassador Audrey Marks, to undertake a comprehensive review of Jamaica's governance arrangements, systems and processes, and to implement targeted reforms that will eliminate inefficiencies and enhance the speed of doing business in Jamaica. Or in short,
streamlining processes for efficiency and economic development, not to be confused with Doge.
She's also responsible for digital transformation. In the meantime, the new state minister in the Ministry of Tourism, Delano Severide, now has the responsibility for linkages between tourism and the general economy.
We want to ensure that the local economy, the average Jamaican, benefits from this incredible natural, renewable asset, tourism, which is essentially the culture, the people, and the environment. We want to get the most out of it.
Janella Precious, TVJ News.
A misinterpretation of the law, but at whose expense? Truckers who transport steel for construction between St. James and Westmoreland are this afternoon upset after they were wrongly ticketed. O'Shane Masters has this report.
Scores of truckers staged a protest at the Freeport police station in St. James this morning over what they say is an injustice being meted out to them.
We have green plate. We have on green plate. We pay extra to the insurance. We are paying the transport authority every 28th of March every year. And if we get a ton of steel for the day or for the week, we have to pay 50,000 when the police catch us. This is injustice, and it is from the pit of hell, and we need justice for it.
They say since January of this year, they have been wrongly targeted by the police.
Carrying 12 lengths of steel, the policeman pulled me over. So that's when I hear someone of carry steel. It's not boss. We do this for years, 20 years now. Don't tell me, you know, the boss of the girl with the ticket that will let steel alone. I think he may take it for 50,000.
An officer assigned to the Freeport police station read Regulation 258 of the Road Traffic Act, the section which covers the transporting of steel.
A person shall not operate a motor vehicle or trailer on a road where the load on the vehicle projects more than 15 centimeters beyond either side of the vehicle or trailer during the period between sunset and sunrise and at any other time when due to insufficient lights or unfavorable weather conditions, persons and vehicles upon the road may not be clearly visible at a distance of 150 meters unless the extent of such projection is indicated by means of either white reflectors or lamps emitting a white light fitted at the outer edges of the front of such load, and red reflectors or lamps emitting a red light fitted at the outer edges of the rear of such load.
After reading the section, it was revealed that there was a misinterpretation of the law by the police. Head of the St. James Police Division, Superintendent Aaron Samuels, intervened and issued an apology.
We want to work with the truckers. We know that they play an important part in the development of the infrastructure landscape here in St. James. And if it is that we may need to have a meeting with them to ensure that their trucks are up to speed in terms of all the safety requirements that is required, we will, and we are ready to do that.
Shane Masters, TVJ News.
As investigators continue to probe the circumstances which led to the fire at the Ocho Rios market, there are concerns that electricity theft may have been a factor. 11 shops were destroyed in the blaze. Details in this report.
A scene of devastation greeted vendors and officials from the St. Ann Municipal Corporation Sunday after firefighters conducted their cooling down operations in a section of the Ocho Rios market. Of the 11 shops destroyed, the owners were unable to save anything. The structures are located to the rear of the market where people sell mainly agricultural produce.
Onion, Irish, room position, I can't even name all of it, and the style, me just build up, lose the board them, me sing them everything.
I've been in the mayor for St. Ann for well over 8 years now, and this is the worst I've seen it ever. This is a total devastation of one section of the Ocho Rios market, total devastation. So what it means now is that we're going to have to figure out it's right now how we're going to clean up. And the investigations is going to have to be done firstly. Then afterwards, we're going to have to go into a cleanup and then some sort of rehabilitation and some assistance necessary to the vendors who may have lost everything.
TVJ News understands that the fire started about 4:50 p.m. and spread rapidly. But according to eyewitnesses, quick action by firefighters prevented an even greater disaster. Mayor of St. Ann's Bay, Michael Belnavis, says the focus now is to get the vendors back on their feet.
The market is really an area where small business people go ahead and make a living. So we have to get everything back on track quickly.
Preliminary investigations reveal the fire may have been caused by an electrical short circuit, but there's an even bigger issue: electricity theft.
We're understanding that the fire was started by electrical issues. What that means, we're not 100% sure, but the last set of fires that we've been having in the market have been called because of illegal connections. So it's something that we have to deal with significantly to prevent any sort of recurrence in this nature.
Janella Precious, TVJ News.
The first child in every household who enrolls in university will not have to pay. That's the promise of the People's National Party should it win the next general election. The occasion was the opening of the constituency office for Spanish Town's Mayor Norman Scott, who is the PNP's candidate for Southeast St. Elizabeth.
I want to tell the man who is squatting in the constituency now that don't worry, you can send out all who you want to send out to take down the billboards, because I am here to stay. I am coming to replace you, because the people said for 9 years they have not seen anything that you have done for this constituency.
He is sending a strong message to the JLP's Frank Witter, who currently holds the seat, that his days are numbered. Opposition spokesman on education Damian Crawford turned to national issues in what he dubbed his freedom speech.
The freedom to achieve starts with education. I said to you, the supporters of the PNP, you can't say power if you don't say knowledge, because knowledge is power. And so that freedom to achieve starts with the PNP's proposal for 1 degree per household.
Mr. Crawford argues that the proposal is aimed at ensuring that every household has access to higher education. It is why he says, should the PNP form the next government, the first child in every household who enrolls at university will not have to pay.
That we are tired of seeing people in St. Elizabeth with 10 subjects working at Chinaman wholesale. People who should be doctors, they won't lay down because they can't afford university. And so when we get power, the first child in every family to get into the university will receive a scholarship from the government so they can afford their university.
The opposition spokesman further explained the ripple effect of the PNP's proposal.
The house who have degree is less likely to have children from malnutrition. The house with degree is less likely to need to go doctor and can't afford it. The house with degree is less likely to have people committing murder and other crimes. So if we can get 1 degree in every house, whole heap of problems, sir.
In the meantime, the Jamaica Labour Party is rubbishing assertions that the party is playing catch-up as it pushes for another term in office. Some political commentators have suggested that the PNP has been gaining momentum because it started campaigning months ago. Speaking at an Area Council 1 meeting on Sunday, Senator Abka Fitz-Henley says the party is unperturbed.
The communication department of the Jamaica Labour Party has shifted into another gear. We have a couple more gears to go, and I drive up and down the carpet area and I see people putting up signs on the other side. But labor rights be calm. Let them go and down out their money. We are proceeding, and we are taking our time, and we are pacing ourselves, because when that day comes and we hit high gear, the third term will be assured for the government of Prime Minister Andrew Holness and the Jamaica Labour Party.
It's time for a break. Stay with us, more local stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. Several councillors at the St. Catherine Municipal Corporation are now trained and certified to handle public procurement in the municipality. Mayor of Port Moreland Thomas, at last week's sitting of the Municipal Corporation's meeting, officially handed the councillors their certificate.
There is a committee that is formed here that look at the various contracts that is going to awarded to various contractors. So we have councillors also sit on that committee. So we send them to mine to get the proper training and the knowledge so that they can be a part of the committee. The committee is comprised of civil servants, the public, and
Mayor Thomas says all councillors at the corporation will be trained.
What we're planning to do is to rotate the councillors. We're not going to have those two at all times sit on the committee. So we have a pool of councillors to be rotated. But we're not going to have anybody over and over repeated on the committee. So it based on the contract that we will be engaged in, and then we'll do the rotation. So no one or two person can say that, yes, I am on this committee, or they will be notified. They will be notified maybe a week before, the actually opening of the bids.
It's now time for the Business Minute. Cement Company generated a profit of $5.9 billion and revenues of $27.9 billion during the year ended December 31. The company says this reflects its resilience despite the challenges, including the disruption of its operations by Hurricane Beryl. Cement's revenues jumped by 2.3% during the year under review. It also suffered a $500 million inventory write-off. Further afield, Forever 21 could be a step closer to shutting down operations in the U.S. after the brand's operating company filed for bankruptcy protection. The firm said in a statement that its stores and websites in the U.S. will remain open as it begins its process of winding down. Forever 21 was once a favorite of young women around the world, but it has struggled to attract customers to its shops because of rising prices and the growing population of online shopping. The company filed for bankruptcy protection for the first time in 2019, but a group of investors ended up buying it through a joint venture. And that's it for the Business Minute. And international stories.
In the region, Trinidad and Tobago has a new Prime Minister, with Stuart Young now succeeding Dr. Keith Rowley, who has been Prime Minister since 2015. Mr. Young, who was the Minister of Energy, was sworn in at 9 o'clock during a ceremony at the President's office. He's now the country's 8th Prime Minister. Dr. Rowley will also retire from electoral politics, and the Governing People's National Movement has selected Hans de Veens to succeed him in Diego Martin West constituency. Dr. Rowley's retirement comes after 45 years in public life. On the international scene, U.S. President Donald Trump will speak with his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin on Tuesday as efforts continue to end the war in Ukraine, a move that could represent a possible pivot point in the conflict and an opportunity for Trump to continue reorienting American foreign policy. Trump disclosed the upcoming conversation to reporters while flying from Florida to Washington on Air Force One on Sunday evening, while the Kremlin confirmed Putin's participation on Monday morning. And Mississauga, Ontario has announced it will be taking down American flags in the city in response to the ongoing trade war with the U.S. On Saturday, an American flag was removed from the pier at Snug Harbor in Port Credit. Mississauga's mayor says the flags will also be removed from other locations along Lake Ontario, as well as all arenas in the city. Meanwhile, other cities in Ontario have taken similar stances. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Nakinsky Robinson.
And we head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports report.